A boy sits in a quiet room. A man asks him to count backward from 100. Subtract 7 each time. Simple. He stops at 65. Then he goes blank and forgets the task entirely. He has not slept in 11 days. By now, he is convinced he is a professional football player. This began as a high school science project. It became one of the best documented unravelings of a human mind. And the man watching would build much of his career around it. He treats sleep like a luxury we can borrow against. Randy's 11 days are that debt, paid in fast forward. San Diego, December 1963. Randy Gardner is 17 years old. He needs a project for the science fair. He picks a dangerous question. How long can a person stay awake? And what happens to a mind that never rests? 2 classmates agree to help him. Bruce and Joe will keep the log around the clock. Their job is to keep Randy moving. Because the moment he stops, sleep will hunt him. The rules are brutally simple. No sleep for as long as he can last. No stimulants, not even a single cup of coffee. Just light, motion, and company. Doctors today would never sign off on this. But in 1963, the real risks were barely understood. Nobody knew where the breaking point really was. Word of the attempt travels north. A Stanford sleep researcher hears about it. Dr. William Dement drives down to watch. He helps keep Randy awake. Basketball, pinball, anything to hold off the dark. A Navy medical officer joins them too. Lieutenant Commander John Ross monitors Randy's body and mind. This is not a formal laboratory study. It is a teenager's experiment, watched by experts. The clock starts on December 28th. The brain runs on a daily chemical tide, a pressure to sleep that climbs every waking hour. Randy is about to fight that tide with willpower alone. Randy feels completely fine. That feeling will not last. Day 1 passes easily. Day 2 does not. His eyes struggle to focus. Words on a page begin to swim. He can no longer name objects by touch alone. Hand him something with his eyes closed. His fingers report nothing. Simple sums now cost him real effort. The world starts to feel slightly behind glass. Day 3 arrives and his mood turns. He snaps at his friends. He grows clumsy and short-tempered. His hands fumble simple tasks. They keep him walking and talking. Keep him laughing. Keep him busy. Because stillness is the enemy now. The body is still standing tall. But something behind the eyes is starting to slip. Sleep loss never announces itself loudly. It erodes the mind in layers, from the top down. Day 4 is the hinge of the whole story. This is where the mind begins to leave the room. His memory starts dropping out. He loses the thread of sentences mid-word. A conversation begins, then simply vanishes. Then he looks at a street sign. And he sees a person standing there. His brain has invented someone out of metal and paint. The exhausted brain fills gaps that are not there. It stitches fragments of dream into waking sight. Then comes the strangest turn of all. Randy becomes convinced he is someone else. He believes he is Paul Lowe, a real running back for the San Diego Chargers. Gardner himself recounted this years later. Correct him and he gets angry. To him, it is simply the truth. A wide-awake teenager has built a false identity. He is living inside it. Starved of rest, the mind loosens its grip on the real. Even identity, it turns out, needs sleep to hold its shape. Now meet the hidden phenomenon. Scientists call it the microsleep. Even as Randy fights it with everything he has, his brain forces sleep upon him, just for seconds at a time. And his eyes can stay open while it happens. He is technically awake, and technically asleep, both at the very same moment. Now picture those lost seconds behind the wheel. Drowsy driving kills for exactly this reason. A microsleep at speed can end a life in total silence. This is the brain's final warning. It'll take what it needs, with or without his permission. It is also why such records are nearly impossible to police. How do you prove a man never slept? Not even for seconds. And it hints at where this story is going. Your brain guards sleep more fiercely than almost anything. Starve it long enough and it stops asking. It takes. Now pull back from Randy himself. Look at the machinery breaking underneath. Attention collapses first. The brain can no longer hold a single focus. Reaction time stretches and slows. Then memory fails to do its job. Sleep is when much of each day gets written to storage. It files what you learned into the long term. With little sleep, far less gets saved. The day simply slides away. There is another job sleep quietly does in the dark. The brain appears to rinse out waste while we sleep. Skip the sleep, and that cleanup is left undone. Next, emotional control gives out. Sleep is the break between feeling and reaction. Wear that break away, and you get the swings. The irritation, the flashes of paranoia. Researchers say the strain reaches deeper than the mind. Sleep loss is linked to weaker immune defense. It can throw hormones out of balance. This looks like a whole body cost, not just being tired. The heart and blood pressure feel it too. Appetite and mood ride the same broken rhythm. By the later days, Randy slurs his words. His face goes blank and expressionless. That empty stare is a brain running on fumes. Strangely, he reported little physical pain. He later said his body felt mostly fine. It was the mind, he said, that went downhill. His body was a passenger. His mind paid the fare. That split is the whole lesson in one picture. Day 11 arrives at last. 264 hours and 25 minutes. The experiment ends. He does not collapse in dramatic fashion. He simply goes to sleep. He sleeps for about 14 hours straight. Then he wakes up on his own, and he is, by most accounts, clear-headed again. But clear-headed is not the same as undamaged. But here comes the twist in the recovery. He never sleeps off all the hours he lost. Roughly 88 hours of sleep, gone. He does not sleep 88 hours to repay it. The brain does not seem to want raw hours. It wants the right kind of sleep. It rebounds first into deep slow wave stages. Then it floods back into dreaming REM. Quality over quantity, by design. That first night, his brain skips the small talk. It dives straight for the sleep it missed most. Later nights flood with extra dreaming to catch up. Within days, the hallucinations are gone. The false identity fades away. On the surface, Randy seems perfectly fine. For years, that was the whole story told. He stayed awake 11 days and walked away unharmed. That clean ending is disputed. Around 2007, more than 40 years later, Gardner said he had developed severe insomnia. And he personally blamed the old experiment. Whether that link is real is genuinely unknown. Treat it as his belief, not proven fact. The wider world quietly changed its mind too. In 1997, Guinness stopped recognizing these records. They called the attempt inherently dangerous. Randy's mark had already been passed before then. Another man was recorded past 400 hours. So the tidy no harm done headline is the weak claim. The one the evidence will not fully support. The clean headline survived because it was comforting. Comfortable stories are the ones we check the least. Randy's mind came apart over 11 visible days. Notice what broke first. Focus, memory, mood, judgment. Now turn the question on yourself. What do you lose on 5 hours instead of 8? Likely the very same systems, just slower, quieter, harder to notice. Randy ran the experiment once in front of witnesses. Millions run a softer version every single night. The mind may be far more fragile without sleep than we admit. And most of us are testing that on ourselves. You will not hallucinate a stranger on the road. You will just be a little slower, a little flatter. Quicker to anger, worse at remembering. And you will blame the coffee, the job, the weather. Almost never the 8 hours you keep shaving down. Randy's mind broke loudly, for everyone to see. Yours may be breaking quietly, night after night. The only real difference is the speed.